Gene Hackman was one of the greatest actors that ever lived. He could be tough, he could be funny, he could even make bald look good. He was just so darn watchable. Let's start with The French Connection, where Gene played Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle. This role was so good, it won him an Academy Award. I mean, who else could make chasing drug dealers through the streets of New York City look like a fun weekend activity? Gene, that's who. He brought this gritty, no-nonsense energy to the role that just drew you in. You couldn't help but root for him, even when he was bending the rules a little bit, or a lot. And that car chase scene? Forget about it. Pure cinematic gold. Gene's performance in The French Connection is one for the ages. It's raw, it's intense, and it cemented his place as a Hollywood heavyweight. Now, in Unforgiven, Gene played a whole different kind of lawman, Sheriff Little Bill Daggett. This time, he was the bad guy. Well, sort of. Okay, he was definitely the bad guy, but he made being bad look so good. Gene won another Oscar for this role, and it's easy to see why. He brought this quiet intensity to Little Bill that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. You never knew what he was going to do next, but you knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Unforgiven is a classic Western with a heart of darkness, and Gene Hackman's performance is a big reason why. He owned that role. Chapter 3. Kneel Before Luther's Superman. Let's talk about Superman. I mean, come on, who else could make being bald look cool? And villainous. And kind of charming. Okay, maybe not charming, but he definitely made Lex Luthor a character you loved to hate. Gene brought his trademark wit and intelligence to the role, making Lex more than just your average run-of-the-mill supervillain. He was smart, he was funny, and he was a worthy adversary to Christopher Reeve's Superman. Gene proved that even in a world of superheroes and villains, a little bit of great acting can go a long way. Chapter 4. Hoosiers, More Than Just a Game. Now, in Hoosiers, Gene showed us his softer side as Coach Norman Dale. He took a ragtag group of small-town basketball players and turned them into champions. And he did it with this perfect blend of tough love and inspiration. Gene made you believe in the power of teamwork, the importance of second chances, and the magic of a good underdog story. He made you want to grab a basketball and hit the court. Hoosiers is one of those feel-good sports movies that never gets old, and Gene Hackman's performance is a big reason why. Chapter 5. The Royal Tenenbaums, A Family Affair. And finally, we come to The Royal Tenenbaums, where Gene played the patriarch of a very dysfunctional family, Royal Tenenbaum. Now, if you've ever had a crazy family, you know how hard it is to make dysfunction funny. But Gene pulled it off. He brought this perfect blend of awkwardness, vulnerability, and, dare I say, love to the role. You couldn't help but feel for Royal, even when he was being his usual, well, royal self. The Royal Tenenbaums is a quirky, heartwarming comedy, and Gene Hackman's performance is the glue that holds it all together. Outrow, that was one talented guy. Gene Hackman was truly one of a kind. He could play any role, from tough guys to coaches to supervillains, and he always brought his A-game. He was a true icon, and he will be missed. You know, they say you should never meet your heroes, but I think Gene Hackman would have been the exception to that rule. He just seemed like such a down-to-earth, genuine guy. And those eyebrows? I would have loved to have gotten a closer look at those eyebrows. So the next time you're looking for a great movie to watch, do yourself a favor and check out one of Gene Hackman's films. You won't be disappointed.